As we are entering the 21st century, I thought I would tell you the story of the international scientific project that changed the world. But to tell you about this, I need to start at the beginning of the microbe story. It's difficult to imagine now as they are at the center of our lives, but for a long time human beings had no idea about microorganisms. Some very clever people had suspicion over the centuries, and one day, two chaps actually saw them. Leeuwenhoek observed animal kills, and Hooke microscopical mushrooms. 100 years later or so, a microbial revolution happened, and fantastically talented people concentrated their efforts into studying microorganisms, and this led to many major discoveries like vaccination, antiseptic medicine, and antibiotics. People in the early 20th century thought that the future was going to be about fighting the unseen world. So for a while, we were fighting a tough war on microbes, and we were mostly winning. But by the end of the century, 200 years of industrialization were starting to take their toll on our planet, and on many fronts, we are losing. Our atmosphere, land, and water were polluted. The climate was changing, affecting all living creatures, and natural resources were shrinking at great speed. Armed with newly developed DNA tools, we decided to take another look at microbes. We found them in every possible environment, and their metabolism had a myriad of amazing functions. The future was going to be about learning from them and getting them to help out. In 2020, the biggest brains of the time got together and started the Microbial Awesomeness Project. The idea was simple but powerful, harnessing the power of the minute world. This may seem like madness to you, but to cope with the pressure for energy, people were extracting resources from the earth that would take millions of years to replenish. Researchers in the Microbial Awesomeness Project decided to focus their efforts in the development of two microbe-based processes that could produce electricity, hydrogen, and methane using bacteria. To make sure that microbes had exactly the function needed, they sometimes had to engineer them. They call that synthetic biology. So you know how your toilet waste is used to heat your house and provide gas for your stove, how your electricity is generated by your food waste, how your urine powers your electronic devices, and how to fuel your car you go to the place down the road where green waste is converted into hydrogen, and how industrial wastewater are the number one source of energy for public infrastructure. It all originated from this. But there was an issue also. Wastewater polluted surface water. And once more, we look at microbes and develop solutions like this filter to clean up the water from chemicals and pathogens. Microbes were also used to fight food scarcity. Some were employed to stop desertification by transforming sands into walls. Others, that could thrive in extreme environments, were associated with the roots of crop. This was the end of chemical fertilization and pesticides. There are many places that you know as flourishing agricultural region now that used to be in a desert. You may not know that plastic was once manufactured from petroleum and was not biodegradable. But then some microbes were engineered to produce biodegradable polymers. However, the biggest change came from the others place. Microbiologists and economists associated and devised a whole new economical model based on bacteria strategy for success, bacterianism. Once we had changed our ways, we needed to clean up the mess left behind. Rivers, ocean, groundwater, but also land were left heavily polluted. But microbes were able to feed on the pollutants, and after a little selection in engineering, they started their long work of remediation. The nuclear power industry had also left a heavy legacy of radionuclear waste, and it was capital to devise durable means for their disposal. The waste was deposited into tunnels deeply underground, and the fractures in the ground through which the waste could have traveled to the surface were sealed using microbes. This was to protect future generations, meaning us. I hope this very quick condensed summary has helped you understand what has made us this new society that lives in symbiosis with all creatures, big and small.